Okay, well, we'll make a start anyway, and we'll enjoy the modern technology of distance learning, whatever it's going to be a bit like. So thanks for joining. Thanks for kind of coming together either in your little pods or in your groups or in your schools, wherever you are joining from, and inviting me to kind of support you in this way. Like I said, it's very much a support way. This is kind of 1 in 3 session. And today we're going to look at creating content either on the board or on your laptops or wherever it might be, that should be really useful within your classroom, whichever area it might be. In that way. So very much looking at creation.
We've got Teams that's come up in our room. Yeah, this is the thing we should be doing.
Yeah, so myself, I'm Mark Hartright. I do professional development here in the UK. I was a primary school teacher. I taught from reception to year 6, although finished in year 1. I was a smart exemplary educator as well. KP, I think if you might just have to mute yourself if you're wandering around, otherwise you might jump up on top of everybody else's as well. Karen, I might just mute you. There we go. Whether she likes it or not. So I was a smart exemplary educator, so it's very much a professional learning network of teachers across the UK and across the world as well to try and learn from each other as well. And I'd urge you to kind of look at that alley to try and learn within your mat, within your trust, as well as everything out there as well. And if you do want to contact me afterwards as well, obviously this is just a snippet. You've either already got my email address that's been sent out, or it's on there as well. Right, so a brief agenda today. You probably got the flyer that was sent across around everybody, but we're going to see if we can learn how to start building these lessons, looking at resources, the templates, the gallery, and the existing resources that you've got already. We'll look at some of the range of the tools you've used, all the stuff along the top and the other things that are available to you within the software, whether that's pens, shapes, maths tools, widgets, etc., things that you know as well. And then we'll look at some of the quick and easy templates, ones that sit within the boards, ones that sit online, and also some of them that sit straight within Smart Notebook as well. And then we'll look at how you can actually save that so you can use it next year or save it and send it to another teacher, or even if you want to send it around the trust as well, in roughly about 45 minutes. And then we'll have a big chunk of time for questions at the end, or just finish a bit early so we can go mark a book and have another piece of cake. But there we go. I was going to say turn cameras off, etc., but it looks like we've done that already, all that side of issue. So the smart board itself. If I just minimize this, this is my laptop. I plugged in my laptop at the back, or my desktop, whatever it might be, and that it is there. So essentially, you just have got a giant touch screen. As I pick up a pen, I can annotate over it, and whatever it might be, whatever a file it is, whether it's a Word document or a PowerPoint document, I can open up that file, start inking, and annotate over the top. It's just a giant touch screen, so I can move that around, and I can rub out with the back of my hand because it recognizes that fat surface is that as well. But what we're going to focus on for the majority of this is a piece of software called Smart Notebook. Smart Notebook sits within your desktop, whether it's Windows or Mac, absolutely fine on both. And what it does, it's a bit like, some of you have probably used it already. It's a bit like your PowerPoint, where you can create a lesson with your kind of slides down the side with your big slide on here. But the only difference is, or one of the differences is, that it's not a presenting bit of software like PowerPoint is a presentation bit of tool, but Smart Notebook is that teaching and learning tool. It's very much designed for teachers by teachers, if you as well, to all the bells, all the whistles, all the teaching tools that you need day in, day out across the whole range of the whole curriculum and the year groups as well. So that sits within the desktop there, and that's Smart Notebook. We're going to have a quick look at the IQ unit as well. So if you change the input, there's like a built-in computer. And we've also got an online piece of software as well. We won't really look at that today. That'll be coming kind of in the later sessions as well. So Smart Notebook, that's where we're going to start at, which is kind of this bit of software here. I will actually jump to the IQ unit as well. So I'm going to change my input. My board here has got 4 pens. So I've got a little button here, and I can change that one there. And that's going to change my input. to a screen that looks like this. If you haven't got a little button there, I think you'll have, because you've got the 6000 board, so you'll have a little white button to click on here. If you've got one grey pen, then you might have a little button down here. It's a square with an arrow going into it, so it changes the input. Or it might be like a little toggle switch here down near the moon, where you can toggle your HDMI or your OPS. And that OPS is this. This is the inbuilt Android bit of software. It's a bit like a mini PC or a powerful phone, if you want to look at it, at the back, and it's running different apps within this. So within these apps, you can see that you can put different apps within it, but it's also got a whiteboard built in here. So if you wanted to create a quick and easy lesson, I've got different squared paper, lined paper. To create it, it's there. I can get going and get started. I've just been kicked out of that one. Am I still on? Yeah, I'm still there. Phew, that's fine. My other monitor just went, but that's fine. So this one here, I can quick and easy create something. If I want to add in images, I can search the web and bring those. Or if I want to just bring a clock in here, I can click that clock, and then that clock will appear in there. So that's that quick and easy creating something for you to use. Also within that IQ unit that sits within the board itself, you can add different templates within there. So you have got different graphic organizers. So if you wanted to create a quick brainstorming, you've got that there built in. I haven't had to make this at all. I've literally just pressed go. And I've created that one there. So also within there, there's lots and lots of different ones, whichever one you want, even a Venn diagram or just charts, flow charts. So again, to create these quick and easy, they're actually in the board already for you to just use. And again, like you pick up a pen, just start annotating any of those. You can move it around, can pinch to zoom, same as you would on just a big touch screen. And then you've got those there. If I just have a look at the digital manipulatives, so I'm going to add in a part there, and rather than a graphic organizer, I'm going to go to a manipulative, and then we've got different ones here. A nice clock one. Oh, it's going to chug away to load. So again, we can draw the time on there. We can write it in the digital version underneath if you want to have that one. One I really like is this fraction wall, where I can just copy those up to there and drag that onto my different places there. So that's a quick and easy visual way of doing it, but I've created that, and that sits within your board. So every time you want to use that, even just as having that up on the wall as a display, if you like, whilst we're doing fractions, actually physically doing those blocks as well, we can have that as a copy one up in there as well. And as I said, there's quite a few different ones in there. There's alphabet ones, there's maths ones, there's even a musical stave in there, just for some kind of bits to play, that quick and easy creation within there. And that all sits within this whiteboard on this IQ unit to quickly create those. You've also got a web browser in there as well. So if you do want to just press play on something, it might be like, for example, here I've just half loaded 10 Town. So it might be that you are just doing that, and then that frees up your computer for something else. Or it might be watching a BBC bite-sized video or something just within the web browser that is there. So then you have frees up your laptop for something else as well on there. You can upload your lessons to that as well within the files. So you can see that some of my lessons that I have created, I have shared those online. So they have got some of those ones on there as well. But I won't go into a huge amount of detail for that one. I'll come back to that a bit more in the next kind of session. So I'm just going to change my input now. And changing my input, I'm going to go back to my HDMI. Again, it might be the button here just to toggle through to into your HDMI 1, or it might be on the MX, a little button down here. But now we're back to here. So we've looked at the IQ unit for quick and easy creation. It's got some templates for you ready to quick up and go with those. But we're now jumping back onto the desktop. And this desktop version here is your powerhouse, if you like. Like I said, this was a bit of a mini PC where you've got some good stuff in there, but actually this desktop is your powerhouse tools. You've got everything to kind of love and use within there. If you are importing other content, for example, you might have a PowerPoint file, you might have old Smart Notebook files, or other competitive files that you've used in another school and bring them here, or just previously, or even just downloaded. You can import those as well. Within Notebook, you click on File and Import. And once you've clicked on Import, you just choose the file you want, and it will bring it into Smart Notebook, so you can use all the tools and everything like that that we are going to kind of look at in a bit more detail in a few moments. So that's a really good thing to do. Obviously, downloading things like, even from downloading like Twinkle or other things like that, to be able to then convert it over to a notebook file is really handy. One of the ones that I downloaded was a William Shakespeare one, and it just kind of just events of his life, and there was a calendar with his birthday, obviously death day, on circled already. So as a PowerPoint, it's very much a presenting, this is his birthday. Great. Some children are going to remember that. Other children, the way I did it is I actually removed the circle that around his birthday, just dragged it to the side and said, right, pick up a pen, now go and annotate where you think his birthday is. So you're actually part of that learning. It's like closer, or drag the ring, and then you can, once you've circled a date, you can actually move it around, or say that one's closer, hotter, colder, so we can actually work together to discover it, as opposed to just be told it, which tends to work for wider majority of children, obviously, learning styles. So importing is a great feature, is what I'm basically trying to say with that. If you're looking at images, widgets, paper, and all of that is in your gallery. So when you come to create a lesson, there are certain templates that you like, there are certain backgrounds. So if I just click here, this is your gallery. Now within the gallery itself, Smart have said, here's a load of stuff. And it was kind of released around the time of kind of clip art. So a lot of it is not the greatest, although there is an image if you want to have that created. And you can have that on the side, or obviously just delete it if you don't want it. But there is loads and loads of different pictures, there's different multimedia, there's different sounds, there's dice, there's all sorts of good stuff in there. But that luckily, there's a search button at the top, and if you can just search for something on there, whether it's a sound of something, an image of whatever it is, then you can just go from there. The easiest way to add images is just to go to Google, copy and paste them straight into here. For example, if I just load up on here, and let's just have a picture of a frog. Don't know why a frog, but why not? Frog, I want an image of one. And just a small tip, if you click on tools, if you click on color and transparent, it would just give you a picture of the frog with a kind of clear background. So then I can click on whichever one I want. Let's just choose this one. So it's there, looks like it is one from Twinkle. Click and hold. And it'll come, so you click and hold, and that's your right click. So then I can copy this image, copy image. And then if I open up Notebook again, click and hold again. Oh, I've got a picture in the background. Edit. So edit and paste. And then there's the frog in there. And obviously I don't want the black background as well. So this extra menu here, most of your tools and everything at the top there, but there is an extra menu at the side that just looks at this picture. So if I now click on that extra menu, I can set in there. So I've changed the transparency of it, and then I've got my frog. So that, as I've brought that image from the web, so I can begin to create the lesson that I want. Within that extra one here, I've also got infinite clone. So if you were counting the frogs, he's doing 1, 2, 3 jumps. And then I can actually have this and say, there's 1 jump, there's 2 jumps. So obviously at the beginning, the counting, we've got that side of things as well. And that's infinitely cloned this one here. And I'm just going to get rid of that frog as well, and click on that one, get rid of that frog as well. So this frog here, I want to use this in other lessons that I'm going to be using throughout the year. So what I want to do now is save this one into my gallery. Maybe I didn't like any of the pictures of the frogs in there. So if you scroll at the top here, you've actually got my content. Now, my content is, like I said, it's just yours. So it will save locally on your computer. So if you are moving around classrooms, it won't go with you. It'll be on that computer, on that classroom computer. There is a way of taking it with you, but we'll come to that another time. And then what I want here, I'm dragging it into my content and drop. And now within my pictures here, I'm going to scroll down, and somewhere in there is a picture of my frog here. And you can see it's just got a name that I might have to rename that, whatever it might be. But obviously, you may not want that picture of the frog the whole time, but something like a number line. So I found this, again, I've just Googled it. I found a number line for 5s, and got one with a picture on it as well. I really like that one. These are the ones that I found really useful to have all the time. It might just be you've got a quick 2 minutes at an end of a lesson. Assembly's been delayed when we ever get assemblies again. Let's count in 2s. We can't remember. I'm not going to get number lines out. Drag and drop it from the side, and I've got that one there for everyone to count up on. I can spend actually supporting children that way, or we're just counting socks. Coins are the same. They're really useful to have at the side, so you can just drag and drop on those there. Even something like cubes. So I've got this one here, and then if I infinitely clone that one, I can be counting cubes. Obviously, it's great to have those cubes out on desks and actually doing that. That can't ever be replaced. But actually, at the moment, if we're not getting those resources out, how can we actually have a way of actually counting something physical? And this is another way of doing it. Maybe not the best way of doing it, but it's just another way of doing it. And then I can count those cubes, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Maybe I'm counting in 6s, and I put the top one as a yellow one. And then I can copy those across and have piles of 6 and go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So we're counting in that way. Or obviously millions of ways of using cubes. But that's just kind of one example. But all of those are stored within your gallery. So when you come to create something, you've got those pictures there ready to go that you can just drag and drop and bring in. For whatever, I've got some more coins there, whatever it might be. That's within the pictures at the side there. I'm just going to add a new page just because I'm getting a bit messy. Also within there, if I look at the interactive multimedia, if you search for widgets, then all of these are going to come up. Something like a dice. Obviously, dice are brilliant for many, many different things that you can use within your classroom. And if you just click on it, it simply just spins like a dice, nice and easy. You can add multiple ones. You can take them away at the top there. But actually, if you click into settings, you can actually customize that dice as well. So when you are coming to create those lessons, if you wanted to create with them with text, for example, when you're doing Read, Write, Ink, or whatever it might be with your sounds, letters and sounds, you've got your last 6 sounds on there. I'll just keep them as that for now. And then I come to spin that dice. What sound is this? We say it. What sound is this? We say it. So it gives you a bit of that pausing time between. You can see the other sounds, so they're beginning thinking about those, and then we're actually verbalizing that one. I've used that. It might be a different way. It's a number, and you've got an equation written, and as you spin it, that number fits in where X is in the equation. Then you have to solve it based upon that being the answer, like that way. You can add in images as well. So it might be multiple choice. It might be different areas around the classroom that you're saying use that section, or it might just be whose turn it is to go and take the register back, whatever it might be. You've got those different options there, and obviously changing the color in the background for those as well if you need to. So that's a dice. There's different ones in there. There's spinners, there's a pull tab, similar to the clock that we showed that we sat within the IQ unit to quickly have a clock here. It's the same, and you can turn off different features, hide the second hands, 24-hour clock. You can get rid of the digital one as well. So that's kind of different examples. And then it is that you can actually manipulate that to make it whatever time it might be. Pause it and start the clock as well for there as well. So it's that gallery tab at the side there within Smart Notebook on your desktop is a really good place to look for lots of different pieces like that. But obviously, actually, the bits within the lesson, that's great to drag those whilst you're doing it. But actually for setting up and actually creating your Smart Notebook file for your lesson that you're going to use week in, week out is obviously also really, really important as well. What I did when I was teaching, I had these set up already. So this was the example. This is the one that I used for my English. I'm just going to make that smaller at the side. You can actually auto hide that as well to make that a bit more space. And you can see here that I had it lined paper. I had the right color at the side. I've got my date and learning objective half written. So when I am coming to prepare this lesson from actually delivery, this was the resource and the dates there, learning objectives there. So that's good to go. Start off with it. I've created that, yes, at home, but it didn't take long just to annotate those. And actually, if I did need to change it, it's not too hard as well. It's all at the right size. It's all underlined. It's good to go. So that when I am starting a lesson, I've got that as my focal point for it as well. Actually, throughout the lesson, it's already all displayed as well. And I put my school logo at the side here just to kind of round it off. Obviously, you don't really need to for there. Another one of those tabs there is a maths tab. So for this one here, I have got some content on this. Blue squared paper, dated with adjective, or Walt in this case, all kind of pre-written. And then you've got the example here. So it's blue, it's squared paper, something that's really easy for you to get going. I have got one saved without the hands, but this one here, just an example. If I click on the hands here, it number ones to 10, I put 3 down. I'm creating it up here so that I can then support the children here, rather than having to kind of hold my fingers down and still show them and still put fingers down individually with my nose or something. So that's just an example there. And to make that, you can see here, I've just got a square over the top of the finger. And then when I click on the square, it disappears, which you can work out through to do as well. So to create that, I've got a blank page here. And first thing I'm going to do is wanting to change the background color. So if I click and hold, is one way of doing it. Click and hold. I can set background fill. So now you can see that the side here, this is my properties tab. My properties tab, I can change the color of that background to something awful or something slightly nicer. I can actually customize that color exactly to what I want. I click OK. That's a better one. I have got a dropper. So if I wanted it to be exactly this gray horrible color, I could, or I could put my dropper and have that blue there. That's a slightly nicer one. We'll keep that one. So I've got that on the side there. So now I've got a nice color background. Within my gallery here, I could search for, let's go for this lined paper. I could search for lined paper. I've got one here. I drag and drop that one in. I've now added, where's that gone over the top? Taking away my nice color background. Oh, not much green shade. Click and hold. Set background fill. Turn that off. So it's a solid one. And then I've got that dropper onto that one there as well. So you can see that now I've got that background color, what I liked. I've created that. I've created my squares on it as well. And then here we've got different shapes. And that's where I have this rectangle here. And I can make that rectangle to be there. I click on that rectangle and I can change the color of that to whatever it might be, the outline color as well. And now I've got that template made. Once I've got that template in my line here, I've got a drop down arrow. I can add that page to gallery. Once I've added that page to gallery, like I said, this is the gallery here, full of all those lovely resources. And that one there, I can then drag that out and I've got another one of those ready for my lesson. Even just as something as rather than adding a blank white page, I can add a blank page like this. So if I'm, obviously most of the lessons we do, we start in this direction, but obviously student paced, we kind of student led, we go off with different tangents. So if I have got that quick and easy access to that whiteboard, which is the right color and the right heading and stuff, then I have got that quick and easy to go during my lesson as well to be able to create that in that style there. Where are we jumping to now? We're looking at the content within it. Have I covered up all that last theme there? I've created a load of rubbish there, haven't I? Import. So we've looked at importing, file, import, and we can use that other content, whether it's stuff we've used beforehand or the Twinkle stuff, PowerPoints and stuff like that. We've looked at the widgets. That was the clock, the spinners, the timers, paper at the side, and that's all stored within my content. So that tab there, the one at the top, the gallery, is a really, really good one for you to look at there on there. Right, let's jump down. So actual smart notebook. Yes, it's great at displaying that content, fine. But what can I actually do with it once I'm in it? Once I'm actually teaching, how can I create stuff for my students that's going to be meaningful for them? So firstly, if you do want to create anything with a pen, you just pick up a pen and start annotating. If you've got multiple pens, then you click start any of those all the time. The black one, if I wanted them to make that one red, make this one yellow, I can, and then those students can annotate at the same time. The amount of, if you've got your board, I think the ones in your classrooms have got one black and one red. In that case, then the black one obviously starts at black, the red one starts at red, and it also it knows it's your finger as well to move around. If you've just got one, if you've got two grey ones, then that means those two grey ones are the same. So it'll know that it's a pen, a finger, or the back of your hand to rub out as well. It doesn't distinguish between the two pens if you've just got the grey pen itself. If you've got a projector onto your board, it will just know that something is touching the board. So whether it's a pen touching it, whether it's your finger touching it, it won't recognize the two. So as you change your finger to black, then both fingers will be black, whichever ones you want to do for as well. They're all 20 points of touch on the new screens as well. So you can have multiple students all writing at the same time, that collaboration side of things as well. Small caveat of the socially distancing point of view with that, but hey ho. So that there. So if I want to get rid of that, what I'm going to do is I'm going to rub all the way around the outside and the dot in the middle, and that clears that content. So whatever that is, if I've just got lots and lots of scribble everywhere, or notes, whatever you want to call them, circle around the outside, dot in the middle, and that vanishes with the pens there. So if I pick up the pen menu appears. And then within there's lots and lots of different ones to kind of have a bit of a play with. Now, I purposely kind of said the play pen, so we're kind of a bit of the play with the pens within these pens. Apologies for the bad pun. But I've done it in that way separately, the fact that you can have those multiple students doing all at the same time. So for example, the calligraphic pen is great for calligraphy, surprisingly enough. What else have I got in there? I have got the normal crayon. You can see it's that one there. You can change the colors in there. Highlighter is nice, obviously just for highlighting, but if you do it in a straight line, it does snap to the line as well. So if you are doing it over larger text, like I said, if you open up a Word document and you want to highlight with that, then you can do that as well, and that works really well for that highlighter. Creative pen. So if I change this pen here to my creative pen, if a child is working over here, if they're doing, for example, 2 add 2 equals 4, this pen is the creative pen. I can use that as a marking point. So I've now got a smiley face for this one. So wherever someone's done some good work, I can have there, but they can actually carry on with the pens with this one or with their finger still of whatever color you change that one to. So that's quite a nice little one for the creative pen. Also with the creative pen, if I'm choosing one of these ones here, a bit like this one, then you can see my letter formation is spot on here, but not here. The same if I'm trying to do an A or an A, oops, I need to stick on the tail before anyone sees. And you can actually see, now this one's formed correctly, this one's not. So without any blue lines in the middle, and make your own kind of story around that. Some nice little creative ones in there. The Magic Pen. Hope some of you have discovered some of these pens and using them already. Just as a Magic Pen here, if I do a circle with it, it becomes a spotlight. So then it will zoom in, or sorry, not zoom in, it will just spotlight that particular section there. And then as I touch the black bit, I can move that around and actually, obviously, spotlight on that one picture. Obviously, if you're doing, I'll come back to the William Shakespeare example. I had a picture of his house. Why was this a particular period of house? We could zoom in on the chimney and look at that bit. We look at the walls. We can look at the door. We look at the windows. And we can move it around and actually make commentary just on that section there. And it just focuses our attention on that one part. If you're looking at for doing it text, if I touch the blue bit, I can reshape that. So now it's a longer piece there. So if I'm reading the text, I can actually go along the text here, obviously keeping your teacher positioning in this sense, but actually move it across and focus on that bit of text rather than trying to kind of point by word by word by word in that way. So that's just one example of looking at for there. If you do any other annotations with still with the Magic Pen here, so looking at pens, which pen am I going to choose? I'm going to choose the Magic Pen. As I do any of these lines, you can see that they are vanishing after the 6 seconds. So it's good fun to be able to just make text disappear. How to actually put that into a context It might be you have got a page of text or a mathematical calculation and you're highlighting key parts of it. You're listing the adjectives within the paragraph. There. Right, now you go and find those adjectives in your text. Which other ones can you find? Yes, there are those ones there. It's kind of half spoon-fed. This is a starting point. Off you go. It might be modeling your handwriting, for example. Or how many times can we do it? Yes, now we can all see it. Now you can see it. Now go away and copy. Oh no, it's vanished. We've got to do it again. So hey presto, you've got to model it all over again on there and repeat on there. So it's just a different way of looking at it. And then the last function of this magic pen is if you do a square rectangle, it does then zoom it in so you can kind of focus on that one word there. It might be for a spelling of something. It might just be looking at a text there or a part of a picture. We're going to describe a character's face. So you put that home that on his face. What can we describe about this? Right, let's now change it. Change it to his legs. How can we describe that bit? There's lots of different ways that you can use that zoom tool within there as well. Just as a quick kind of looking at some other pens in that there. If I just go to that shape recognition pen, so it does recognize that I can draw a circle, I can draw a triangle. Key stage 1, it can draw any shape. Key stage 2, not all of them. If you could freehand draw them, it's going to draw them. If it's going to be that they're more complicated for us to draw just freehand, then it won't recognize the shapes, although it does do, if they're straight lines, the irregular shapes as well. So if you can draw it, go for it. If not, you have got your presets of shapes up here to be able to create those different ones on there. So you can just click on that and you have got that shape kind of made for you within there. I'm just going to put that pen down a minute. Now I've drawn that shape there. When I clicked on the frog, I could change that picture or clone that picture because it's a picture. In this case here, it's not a picture, it's a circle. And the software understands that it's a circle. So if I click on this little extra menu here, yes, I could infinitely clone it like I did for the frog, but now it's got some extra options here. For example, this divide shape. So if I click on divide shape, I can then choose, for example, sevenths, showing the fraction. And now I've split that shape up into sevenths. So I can bring that and actually use that like that. I might actually want to select both of those, clicking on the outside, change the color of those ones there. And then if I shake them, they group. And then put that in the middle there. And there we've got that kind of shape for looking at. I can actually bring up all of those, shake all of those, resize it. And there you're saying how many sevenths have I got, how many shaded, how many not shaded, but all starting from drawing the circle and actually real life parts of a whole in that way. In the same way as my triangle, I don't want to divide that one, but I want to do with this one is show the interior angles. So you can see it's 90-degree angle, 90-degree triangle, because I've got that one there. But maybe I was trying to draw an equilateral triangle. So now I'm actually reshaping that till close enough. Not quite, there it is. So I'm trying to actually make that equilateral triangle, and I can see that it's equal because the angles are all equal. Hopefully you can't see that's too accurate, but hey ho. And that's starting with another one of those pens there, the shape recognition pen. Last pen is another pen from here, is the text pen I want to show you. So if you are just typing, writing, ooh, pens, don't know why I didn't like it up there. It will then change it to text. And then I've got that text and I can move that text around wherever it might be on the board, and that will have there. If you're having a text, so if you're just making notes and stuff, it's a good way of just making those notes legible. I know, as you can probably spot, my handwriting is not perfect all the time. To be able to quickly change it to text is sometimes a useful feature. Something like this, when I'm annotating it to make it up leveling it essentially. If I circle the A, for example, it's that inside this circle is wrong. This needs changing. So then I can add in that capital. It's going to recognize that it's capital. It's there. Hasn't got the finger space, so I'm putting a line down. And then that's adding in there. The same for the full stop. I can circle. Everything inside there needs changing. Add a full stop. Oh, I'm going to cross it out because I didn't quite catch it up. So a dot. Nope, it's not a T, it's a dot. It's not going for me today. It's normally absolutely fine, but it's not going to go for me. Surprise, surprise. Hey ho, it normally does. It's absolutely fine. I can also add on the, what color should we go? Yellow. Joined or not, you can see which one it is. It's gone for yellow. On the yellow mat, get my finger space. I'm going to try this again because it's annoying me. It hasn't got the one at the end. It just doesn't want to add punctuation to me. Hey ho, no punctuation. So I can add that as well, or I can cross out. Woo. I could cross out a word, cross out cat, and then I can add in dog. The way I added that in again by just putting that little arrow underneath, so it's adding that word in there. I've typed this text purposely in green, so that is my starting point. Now I'm coming to it in, now I'm annotating it in the black, so I can see this is my starting point. This is how I've improved it, and actually up leveling for a purpose in that sense there. So that's a kind of a quick introduction to how to kind of create with some of those pens in there. Obviously, there's text, there's lines, and all lots of stuff in there. So have a play with those pens. I did do that kind of play pen on purpose to just kind of accentuate that. Just have a play with them. How can they work with you? Or alternatively, at the top here, you've got a little arrow. If you click that arrow there, it puts at the bottom. So then the children can come up and play. And we all know that give the children an example, a way to play, then they'll probably learn things better than we do when we are sitting and playing just by their nature. So that is that option to have those down at the bottom there. Also within all those things there, you've just got your rubber. Like I said, the rubber is the back of your hand. So if you've got a shape here, I've got some white text over the top, some white writing. And then as I rub that off, I'm now revealing the shape. It might be the same thing for a coin. What coin is this? It's a bit like a feelie bag, but rather than having to have that feelie bag, it's a digital one of example of it. I know obviously I tried to do that so many times with shapes, and I could only ever find the small little shapes, which weren't great in this class of 30, but it's a good visual one up there. Both are great. And then I can rub that out and kind of see that there's a coin there, or I can just have a picture of a monster in the background or whatever it might be, for examples of that. So there's lots and lots of different things just to play with within Smart Notebook that just are going to create your lesson or to enhance your lesson, and all these different bits and pieces to make it better with that way. What I'm going to ask we're going to do now is we're going to jump in and look at this Space Invader here. Now this Space Invader here is a brilliant way to create content for your students. It's quick and easy. But it's really engaging and really, really fun for the students, and just good to play. And so I'm going to send some of this content for you as well. So if you have got a laptop, an iPad, or even a phone or something like that, we are going to see if we can play some of these games as well. So if you could go to this web address here, hellosmart.com, and type in that code there. I'm just going to jump down and actually get a game going for us. So we're on there. So it's hellosmart.com. And then that there is the code there. I'm just going to see if I can jump back in here just so I can see some of you as well. And I'll put that in the chat as well. So it's hellosmart.com. And then that's the code. There we go. hellosmart.com. And the code is 162353. Am I right? 162353. Yeah. So just to walk you through that, because I see no one's just there yet. So if you open up a web browser like this one here, and at the top here, I can just type in hellosmart.com. Quite spell it right. Let's just do that before it takes me to some weird website. hellosmart.com. So now it's going to take me to a screen like this. You can see it's the student view because it's got pictures of students. I can then join as guest just for today. And now I've joined as guest. It's going to ask me for a code, which is that one I put in the chat. The 16, I can't remember myself now, 162353. Click next. It's going to ask you for your name. I'm just going to put M for now and join. So now that is what the students will see. And I can say AL, Paul, Kelly, and Rachel have joined. So thanks. So you now, and Mr. Hensby, you now have got your game like that, and you can now play it. You can put these in the correct order, if I can get any one of them right. I can get those correct ones there, and I can see who is playing, who is joining live within the lesson. Obviously, this can be sent out to devices. I have no idea what device you are using, and it can be any device. It just needs something with a web browser, and then this content can be sent out to the students here. This is one that sits within Smart Notebook. So as I send that, it sends out to them. The creation side of this, obviously I can play it at the board as well. The creation side of this is within this Space Invader at the top here. This one here is called rank order, surprise, surprise, because you're ordering them. And all I did to make these is I typed in the 9, 8, controversially, planets at the side here. I wanted to do instantly. Maybe I say don't check. So you're playing at the moment rather than listening to me, probably. But what you're doing is you're having to get them right. So it might be at the beginning of your learning your times tables. I want you to just learn the sequence. That's all. But now I want to change that to actually assess you. So I'm now clicking don't check. I click next. I choose a different background. I quite like the pirate background. It's got a nice bit of calming music with it as well. I'm just going to mute it here just in case. And then I click on this little device at the side here. And I can click start. And now that's going to change for you. If you haven't connected exactly, you can see now this is my student view here. It has changed that one. So you're now playing that game. For those that can play along, you can now see that if you drag them in, you're going to get them in any order. You can do them in any order. So then as a teacher, you can walk around, you can actually assess those pupils. How actually are they doing? Are they just first to finish because they put them all in the boxes? Or are they doing it and doing it well? It might be that you come along and say, oh, swap those 3 around, make sure those are in the right order. But it's sending out to devices, so they are part of it. And you have created that game quick and easy for them. To be able to send those out to devices and have that little code there, hence why I could reel it off so much, is my teacher code. And to be able to generate your teacher code, you need to sign into your account at the top. Literally just click sign in, and then you sign in with your school email address, whether that's a Google one or a Microsoft one. You just sign in with it, and that will just load you up to this. You should have the licenses and that all sorted for this as well. If you haven't, we can have another conversation just to line those up. There's a portal to do it all online. It's quite straightforward, just dumping your emails next to your kind of code. But it's teaching wise, just use your email address and it just works to send those out in that way. As another example here, I'll just show you another one and then we'll play a different one. This one here uses images. And I'm actually going to go to Zoom here and I'm going to click full screen. So now I've got that and I'm just going to make it even bigger as well, drag it down a little bit. So now I've got this full screen here. You haven't got this game yet. So as I click on the mobile device here, click on start, it's now started for you all as well. So I click start. And then this one is loading the images. You can see here, this one, I have actually decided to put pictures in it as well. See if I can get some of them right, some of them wrong. Let's get one that I'm actually confident in. So you can see here, now I can check the answers. You can see that I've got 2 of them correct and 1 of them incorrect. So that's just the way I've designed this game. Rather than spitting them out at the beginning like the planets did, or waiting to the end, this one I can check halfway through and say, yes, I've got those ones right, and then carry on with it. And you can, like I said, I've got images in those as well. Creation is massively key. I'm not going to be wanting to say kind of use this and it's going to take you ages because they're quick and easy. And like I said, if you wanted to add these to your gallery as well, do that little drop down arrow on that picture there, I can add that to gallery, a bit like when we were making the pages. If I add this one to gallery, now every time I want to probably choose a better example than flags, but I can have that on there and drag that one on there. So it might be your 2 times tables or some key vocabulary or something like that. We can drag and bring those in partway through the lesson because they're in your My Content within the gallery at the side here. But to make them, I'm just clicking on this pencil here just to edit them. To actually make them, here are the pictures here. You can see I can just click on this image here where it says picture, and then I can choose the picture anywhere on my desktop. Smart haven't kind of given you a bank of images. I dare say they wouldn't have included the Iran flag within that, but Google them, copy them, save them to your desktop, and then you can use them just in that way. And then you can use them as a bank of resources for you as well. And you can see I've just typed in the countries that are matching with the flags and click next. I can choose a background if I want to change it to an underwater one, rock concert, dragon, whatever it is. Or sometimes I just want the simple one. I click finish, and now it's just changed to the simple one as well. And then to start it for everyone else where you are, I click start, it loads for you. And now on your version in front of you, it's now changing over and to the loading one there. And you've got that one. All of these games here, like I said, sit within this Space Invader at the top here. You'll need to log into your account, but once you've got these bank of resources here, and these are so good to use. Lots of different ones here. There's a match them up one there. So we click on it, this goes together with this. It's a bit like a pairing game if you want to that one. There's that rank order one here. This little magnifying glass here is really useful. So if you click on it, it does give you a preview of your lesson there, so you can do that. And there's lots of ones to play and to create with. This response one, I'll just show you that one. This is more of your summative assessment. So the questions go out to the devices. Whether the students have answered those, they send up on the board. But this one here, you can actually export as an Excel document. So you've got that data to kind of analyze as well. Good for something like guided reading, where you're just sending out 10 questions to students about the text. You've sent that out, they've responded to it, but actually they're going to get that instant feedback of which ones are correct, which ones are incorrect. You will then get that data to use afterwards as well, so you can actually come back to it, or just at the end of the lesson, you can go to them and say to them those, and they've got instant feedback. But the students get that instant feedback and they can be doing it independently, which is brilliant. Or if we are doing some kind of remote teaching, then that's the assessment, that feedback from the students can be used in that way. And that works straight within, obviously, within Notebook itself. They're quite similar to the kind of the Kahoot, Quizlet, that sort of style of things, and they're all in there. Last one here is Shout It Out. I'm just going to jump to that one here. And looking at this one here, I'm going to click Start for this one. Now, I didn't show you Speed 'em Up. Speed 'em Up is a car racing game. This one here. So as I click Start, I can spin, the cars go round, and when I get to a certain point, there's another question. And as I answer that, I speed up my question or I spin out. You can just add in different questions. It's really, really quick, fun way to engage with the students. Brilliant for maths and something like that. So don't worry too much about the Speed 'em Up box. But what I'm going to ask you to do is to share an example of how you could use Match Them Up. How could you use the rank order tool within your school, within your setting, within your classroom? And if you can type them in, like this person's done already, and just send them in. So, we could use that one. I can move that one there. Has anyone got any other examples? If you're not connected, I'm just going to show you here that you can type it in times tables. So I've typed in times tables. I can use that for Speed Them Up, click send, and there's my answer there. So you're sending up those answers to be up on here. If anyone else wants to go for it, feel free. If not, I'll just explain it. Essentially, it's giving everyone a voice, giving those students the ability to send their answers up, even if they're sitting at the edge of the classroom or remotely. And everyone's answers can be coming up at once, rather than saying, put your hand up, you. It just comes all together there. So it is really good, although you're not sending them up at the moment, but hey ho, never mind. Right, the last kind of point that I was going to look at is saving that content. Now, saving your smart notebook files is easy. All you need to do is to click on File and Save, and then save it where you normally would anyway. If you've got the file here and you want to save it to the Google Drive, then drag and drop, put it in Google Drive, go for it. The same with OneDrive. If you want to compute on your computer, if you click on share, that's going to save it to your smart online account. So you can actually access that through the online version as well. And you'll just have to, we'll come back next time, we'll look at that in a bit more detail. Or if you are still using pen drives, you can just save it as a pen drive. Similarly, if you would a PowerPoint file, notebook file, you can save it wherever you want in that way. Right, coming nearer to a close, I'm going to pause for a load of questions for you in a bit. I don't want to keep you too longer. So what creation tools are you using? Part of this here is, yes, I've kind of spouted at the camera for a while, talked to you for a while, but actually how can we use this within your classroom? I'm kind of lucky enough that you're within the same trust and you're working within similar schools. So I'd urge you to share, even if you don't get me involved, get Education Southwest involved, get them sharing, get you sharing how you can actually use this for the benefits of your students. What creation tools are you using? Are you using something like PowerPoint and you're inking over the top of it, adding images? Are you using Notebook and using some of these pens to create different files for it? In those games there, I'd love to see pictures of you using it, or if it's obviously if it's applicable for children actually being engaged with this as well. But feel free to share it, and I do kind of challenge you to share some stuff with me or the wider community as well. Build that professional network within your trust and within the global context as well. And if you do want to share it to Smart themselves, a great hashtag to look at is Smart Champion. You'll find some really good content in there. Or if you do want to just look at Smart social channels to build up your professional learning network, then go for it as well. Right, I think I've probably talked enough. I'm going to pause for a few questions. There is some more training available, which I'll come to in a few moments. But if there are any questions, feel free to open up your cameras, your microphones, or just type it in the chat, or keep quiet and not say anything. And we'll all go home a little bit quicker and email me afterwards. Feel free to do that or type. Whilst you're kind of thinking, feel free to interrupt me at this point. I do bi-weekly training sessions, just a 20-minute slot. If you do want to join those on Thursday lunchtime, either at lunchtime or after school, those are available there. The web link is out on the flyer itself. Just literally a 20-minute drop in, learn a quick tip whilst eating your lunch and then carry on, or just after school in that, I've had a busy day. Something to take your mind off it, just to sit and listen to, go from that as well. They are interactive. We will play some of the games with that for that on there. The next one is this Thursday, so feel free to join in there. Still waiting for your questions to pop through. I might pick on someone in a minute. If you have liked that starting point here, feel free to join again next week, Wednesday, 30th of September. And we'll join that. You've got another link here. It's the same as this one, Smart CPD Enhance, and we'll look at upskilling those as well. So thanks, Sarah.
Sorry, it's Paul Gerardo here. I'm head at Stoke Fleming. I just wanted to say thank you for the training. It's really useful. I think it's quite overwhelming with all of this. I remember when they first came out, and we did the training on smartboards, on the old ones with the projectors and things. Using these notebooks and things. Obviously, we're recording this, and I'm going to send it out to support staff and things as well. We've got problems with linking boards up and things like that, but the notebook, does that work? The actual that have to be linked into the computer?
No, Smart Notebook is just a piece of software that works on your laptop, desktop, Mac or Windows. So if you're working at home, your PPA room, or if you just turn the board off and you just want to use it on your desktop computer, then you can use Smart Notebook wherever you want. And licenses wise, all you need to do is to sign into your account here, and then you're good to go.
But can you do it the other way around and use it without actually having it linked into a laptop in the classroom?
Okay, so if you haven't got a laptop built in, that's where you've got this one here. So you haven't got all the tools essentially, because you have just got that. It's an Android unit in the back. We call it an IQ unit. So you have got your whiteboarding, you have got a few apps and stuff in there, and you can load your lessons to a display on there. I'll just show you within the files. So files, these are my lessons that I've uploaded to the Smart account. So I can jump in and I can deliver from these. I just haven't got all the bells and whistles that fit from your desktop, because I essentially haven't got the power from it. It's going to take a while to load as well for me at the moment.
No, that's fine. I just wondered if there was a way of just experimenting with that and being able to just write on that and try some of those different things that you can use on the board without necessarily having to have the computer plugged into it.
Yeah, like I said, it's possible. It's, from a teaching point of view, this is still under development, and it's a great go-to, quick and easy access, like some of those templates, the fraction rules. But as a day-to-day teaching, I personally would want that desktop experience where I've got everything, rather than a kind of stripped down version of it. But yeah, so this is the lesson here, which I was delivering from, and I can still annotate, I can still teach from it, but it's just a different way of doing it.
Brilliant.
Okay. It's also got screen sharing built into that as well. So if you do want to teach from like an iPad or something, you can share to the screen here and do it that way. But cool.
Great. Thank you.
No problems. If there are any other questions, obviously feel free to hang around and ask those. If you do want to run, obviously your time is precious, and you want to carry on getting all the important jobs done. So feel free to just run away. If you want to put a comment, feel free to do so. I'll hang around for another couple of minutes, but essentially, thanks for joining, and see you soon.
Thank you.
Cheers.